Alrighty, got the crank sensor in. Yeehaw! Yep, that wasn't that hard. Got the cables going, got everything hooked up, and you can call me a lot of things. Ingenious for this one. The coil plug connector broke. So, yep, have zip tie will travel. I did get the alternator trying to get that all figured out. Got that figured out. Got that figured out for the transmission. I didn't tear this thing apart. Jeff did. He went willy-nilly on it and said, "Here, Bill, put it back together." You know how that works. Somebody else tears it apart and then they tell you to put it back together. So anyway, it's good to have another one that's somewhat similar. So I have a reference. But so far, my memory serves me well, and I've been guessing rather well. So a lot of this stuff naturally wants to fall into place, but we're getting there. I'm looking forward to doing this. We had to find a gasket. We had the gasket, although it was for another project. But anyway, rob Peter to pay Paul. But we're working on it. We'll eventually get this done. Don't know if we'll get it all done tonight. Depends how hard we work. But I'm going to say after 10 o'clock I start slowing down. So anyway, that's what we're at. We're going to keep at it and see where we got. Who knows? We might have a beer tonight.
I second guess myself on that. I can use the original starter again.
Yep. Now we're getting this cat, which is a manifold. Now the reason we replace it is because unfortunately rust was an enemy for all three of these. They all broke off. So ended up getting all new cat with a new manifold, new gaskets, and everything else. So Jeff's just tightening everything up to factory spec, right, Jeff?
That's right.
Torque's factory spec. We do have a thing if for whatever reason, we have a starter issue, we know where to go. Well, I'm pretty sure it'll start. If it doesn't, hey, new starter. It's not that hard to get to. Won't be fun, but it's not hard. But we're gonna roll the dice on this one, right, Jeff?
Yeah.
We're just gonna roll the dice on it. Looks like maybe you might just be able to replace the solenoid. I don't know. They probably sell it all one unit, knowing Ford. Yeah. So anyway, if we have a problem, we know what it is. But anyway, we're just getting all these torqued up. Jeff's going to finish torquing them up to spec, and then we're going to start getting everything else hooked up. We're not going to hook the power trade part of it up just yet, but we will hook the exhaust up eventually so we can do a run on it once we get everything else hooked up. So that means we got to put the front end on and condenser along with the radiator and all the connections that go with that, and then get the AC hooked up, and then of course the AC has to be charged, but we don't have to have the AC running to test the engine, right, Jeff?
Correct.
So we just need to basically get the transmission hooked up, the lines there, and then coolant, make sure the oil's full, transmission's full, and then we'll go ahead and give her a test run. Make sure she runs. And then after that, we'll carry on. Alright, did a little bit of wire brushing and cleaning up this space right here. A little bit of corrosion, wanted to smooth it all out and get it cleaned up. Clean these off here. I still have to do this one right here, but I did the old thermostat on there. Took a new gasket, new thermostat, cleaned that all up, got it all nice and tight. So I'm getting ready to mount this on here, right here, and then of course I have to take this off because this screws into the upper or the lower plenum, so I can't put that on till I get the lower plenum ready to go. So now I'm going to work on that. I got to take this tape off of here and expose all that, but I think I got everything else hooked up. Yep, we got that all hooked up. That's setting pretty good. So, yep, we're just going to go ahead and start putting that together and moving on. Hey, now we got it all hooked up. Yes, all attached. Got the obligatory paper towels in the intake. Got the lower plenum is, of course, installed, torqued to spec. And all the fuel injectors are thus connected. So, yep, we're getting there. Just got a few other things to do. Then we'll be putting the upper intake on. And I got to get busy and clean that before we put it in. So, that's the next thing I'll do is clean it before we install it. But otherwise, I think we got it. We're going to start going ahead and hooking a few other things up. And then we're going to go ahead and start working on this condenser and radiator. Get that whole assembly tore apart. I'll do a separate thing on that assembly. Just so that people can see what goes into it when you put it together. Because that thing is so delicate, you don't want to break it. So that's what our goal is, not to break it. And I do have a new line. Yes, I went and picked up a new line. And I do have that in the vehicle. So we got that all set up. Yep, we got the new line right here. I forgot about it. This is the new line. And this is the updated part. Because Ford got rid of the muffler. That's right. They no longer put the muffler on the part. So, yeah, the old one had a muffler on it. This one don't have a muffler. Let's see if I find the muffler. I don't know where the muffler went. But one part of it is around here someplace. But, yeah, I don't know where the muffler was. I'll look for it and I'll show it to you all what the difference is. There you go, folks. Same part, right? Yep, looks the same, looks the same, looks the same, looks the same. Oh, don't look the same. Look. Look what's missing. No muffler. Ford deleted the muffler on the AC line. So, that's what it looks like. They've changed it. Hey folks, MACT here, and holy cow. Yeah, this here is split all the way around at the end of this air intake on this, and I'm going to clean it up with some brake clean. We're not going to buy a new one, but I will clean it up really good, and then I will apply silicone all the way around that to try to seal it up so that we don't have an air leak going on. But yeah, it has split open, and there's no real other way to repair it, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to get this fixed up and cleaned up and then sealed up. All right, folks, we are making some headway. We are getting ready to put the battery tray in, but first we have to get a few other things done. Like I said, I got the upper plenum all torqued to spec, sequence wise and everything else. The fuel line is all shredded, connected up, and we got the wiring harness all set up. Everything's ready to go. We got this wiring harness here, but over here we got a fresh brand new trans cooler condenser installed, and got that all hooked up, and then we got the front structure for the cowling and everything all hooked up, and we got new hoses. Look at that. Isn't that not a professional look? Look at that, clean up. We even put the old socks on the new hoses, so it looks like we knew what we're doing. You know, if you can't make it, we fake it, right? Yeah. So we're all set. The fans and everything else are being reused, and so is the radiator, because it looks in pretty good shape. The condenser was what was taking the brunt of all the failings of the driving and everything else, because as you can see, this condenser had seen better days. So if you guys are in there tweaking on things, and one member mentioned he had a leak and he tweaked on this, if you crack this weld right here, you're going to have not transmission fluid coming in, because you can see the difference between the vanes when they get smaller to larger. The larger ones are the transmission cooler, the smaller ones are the condenser for the AC. So we got that all getting replaced. We're ready to take and mount this whole thing up in there. It comes as a big old unit, as you can see, and that's going to fit right in there. And we even got the bumper semi in place. So we're getting there. We just got to start doing suspension axles and everything else we want to get done. We doubt we're gonna, I don't know if we're gonna get to the starting point yet tonight, but we're gonna do our best to do it. But we want to make sure we have the axles in and everything else. So it might be tomorrow, but if it ain't today, it will be tomorrow. Unless something dramatic happens, it will definitely be running and driving on its own tomorrow. Because we just got to do the suspension axles, and we all know those are easy, right, Jeff?
Absolutely.
Axles are easy, right?
Axles are easy.
Axles are easy. Axles are easy. That's an inside joke. Anyway, we're almost there. So this 2011 Ford Explorer, bless its heart, is actually fun to work on. I'm having a good time with the Explorers. Did I say that? Oh my God. Oh, don't tell anybody in the Ford Edge group, okay, folks? Don't tell them. If they hear me say that, oh my gosh, I am in so much trouble. Anyway, we're having fun with this. And hey, I even changed the oil in my Explorer Sport earlier while Jeff was gone. I went, Jeff is gone, the mice will play, that type of thing. But anyway, yeah, if you guys like to see engines get put in, this is definitely a video for you. We're doing it. All right, folks. As you can see, we have the becomings of a 2011 Ford Explorer. New condenser. Yeehaw! Transcooler. We got the AC lines that we're working on connecting. Then we got to do some electricals to finalize a few things and get the last AC lines on. Once we get all the AC lines on and we're certain that everything's tight, we will then begin putting a vacuum on it and cleaning up any other electrical we need to do, and then start working on suspension, replacing a lower control arm on this this side, and inserting some axles, hooking the drive line up, and also installing any other parts like struts that we got to put in here. And once we get it done with that, we're going to put her on her wheels, and then I think we're going to start it up. Don't know if we're going to get to it yet tonight, but definitely tomorrow we will get it running, because we're not that far. But suspension won't take us long. Jeff and I will both do both sides. We'll get the axles in and brakes and everything else that we're going to do with it, struts, and get everything situated so that we can put her on wheels and turn her into a roller and get things buttoned up, get coolant in it, check the oil, put oil in it. I cleaned the throttle body. Check that out, buddy. That thing is clean. Clean the intakes, upper and lower plenums, clean them out with basically brake clean and everything else. Got them cleaned out really, really good. So throttle body cleaner and all this other stuff. So everything is cleaned and ready to go. But this Ford Explorer is getting ready to start, and there ain't much more that we can do to it. So we're getting there. Well, we got the oil checked here, folks. 2 quarts overfilled from the remanufacturer. That's right, it had 8 quarts of oil in this thing. So we had to suck out 2 quarts of oil. The transmission, we're not getting anything on the old stick. So we're going to go ahead and add some more transmission fluid, about a half a quart at a time, until we figure out what we got. But yeah, we figure it's going to be a few quarts low probably. Torque converter doesn't have anything. So we're just topping off fluids and trying to catch things up. And then, of course, the coolant. We're going to vacuum fill the coolant, so that'll be something else we'll show you that we're doing on this thing. But we're just at the point now that we'll end up pulling the fuse for the injectors. We'll probably eventually crank her over after we install the battery and air intake and everything. We just want to crank it over, make sure we got oil flowing, and then of course measure the transmission. And this time I personally connected the lines down below. Oh gosh. So Not saying that Jeff did anything wrong, but if it leaks this time, you can all blame me on this one because I was the one that did the line connection. So, you know, not to say Jeff messed up, but there's a lot going on. Just like this one, there's a lot going on. You will not believe how many things you have to think about when you do this. Okay, when you DIY something like this and say it's not something you normally do, I mean, you can literally stay awake at night thinking, did I do this? Did I do that? And, you know, that's just the nature of the beast, but you have to sit there and make sure you've checked everything. Barely touching?
We got it probably where we want it. It's the bottom of the hash marks right here.
Okay.
For
Well,
cold,
once we start it, it's going to go
that should
lower. I bet you anything.
It will.
Because that torque converter and everything's going to have to fill up.
You want more in it?
I wouldn't put any more right now.
Don't?
Once we get the engine started and let it spin, we won't put it in gear. The transmission will just be spinning. Then we can check it again while it's running. So, but anyway, folks, yep, that's what we're at. AC system. I'm probably going to do that a separate thing on there, but I think right now we're going to work on getting the battery tray in, air box, and everything else so that we can get something ready to start. But we also got to do coolant, so we'll probably do the coolant first and then do the battery thing. That way we can wait and see if we see leaks. Jeff says we'll see leaks right away. I say we probably won't, because I know we did a good job. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get that done. Oil check. Transmission fluid check. Coolant, soon to be a check. We'll be back once we get the coolant going. Well, word for the day is predominantly full. We vacuumed the system and filled everything up. All the lines, of course, are new hoses collapsed and then filled up. But again, this is a closed thermostat. So yeah, we're going to have to get it up to operating temperature. That will definitely empty out as it runs and burps once it's warmed up. But we have now coolant check. Transmission fluid full enough for now, check. Oil check. Battery installed and terminals have been hit with dielectric grease and cleaned. So this is a 417 battery. Oh my gosh, Jeff. 417 is the date of this battery.
Oh yeah. So
this is a 6-year-old battery on this car. Yeah, okay. As long as it starts, we don't care. But yeah, that there, it might be a problem. 417, you see it right there. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We got a charger if nothing else. So, but yeah, I think what we're gonna do is finish hooking up the battery, the air cleaner, MAF sensors, all that stuff we got to do, and then we'll take and go to the injectors, unplug the injector fuse, and we're gonna crank her, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're gonna crank her with no fuel.
Soon.
And then we'll look to see that oil is flowing while we're cranking it, check everything, and then we'll go on to the starting. All right, battery's all in. I got the terminals cleaned. I got the battery hooked up except for the negative. So now I'm going to work on the airbox. Get that airbox hooked up. Woohoo! We are so close. So close. Yep. When it splits, you RTV the thing. And then you hope for the best, right? We'll find out, but hey, at least the resonator ain't got a big old gaping maw on it. But time to install this thing. It's dry. It's been sitting for 12 to 14 hours at least now. So we're good to go. Oh yeah, just in case you didn't know, right here, 15, fuel, relay, so number 15. That's what we did. Pulled it, that way when we go to crank it, we don't have fuel going to it. So hopefully there's no fuel that'll pump, and therefore it won't start and it'll just turn over.
Thank you for watching MACT's videos, and remember to like and subscribe. This is a Mercy Go production.